हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम यू ऑल टू एआई की पाठशाला। एआई की पाठशाला आपकी अपनी पाठशाला है। सो व्हाट एवर सेशन आई एम कंडक्टिंग these days, it's absolutely free. Of course, any one of you who wants to study, they can join me in my live session, and I usually conduct live session at 9:15 p.m. these days. So you can go to the description section of the video and join my Telegram group from the link attached there. In this way, you are able to access my live session. So that's all. And we were discussing the object oriented programming, and we have already covered, I have already taken 12 sessions in the object oriented programming. And today I will be discussing inheritance in object oriented programming. So let me share you my screen first, and thereafter we will discuss one by one. So first, let me do one thing. Let me create one repository, one GitHub repository first. So I'm going to create one GitHub repository for today's session, and thereafter so you guys also create the GitHub repository for the today's session. Are you able to see my screen, and is my audio create one repository? And after creating the repository, copy the URL of this repository and clone it. Oh, I have
0012, huh?
yes, yeah, yes. So let me create the repository. Okay, I missed this thing. Fine, not in this one. So let me open the VS Code, Visual Studio Code. Fine. Clone repository. I'm cloning this repository, and where to put disk? AI Ki Pathshala, Python. Fine. So open. Yes, I trust author. Fine. So I have created one repository. As you can see, repository has been created. Now let me create one file called practice1, or I can write inheritance1.py. It's .ipynb. So let's create this file. Detect kernel, Python environment, this thing. Done. Inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction. These are certain properties of the object-oriented programming. So, in which we are going to discuss the inheritance first. Today, we are going to discuss inheritance, and thereafter, one by one, we will take into account other properties. We will discuss other properties also. Inheritance. So let's first understand what is the inheritance. So the common meaning of the inheritance, you must be knowing that like we inherit properties from our parents and grandparents, similarly in programming, there is a concept called parent class, which is also called base class, and the child class, which is called derived class. So we will understand this with the help of an example. So likewise, we inherit properties or characteristics genetically from our parents or from our grandparents. Likewise, in the same manner, in object-oriented programming, there is a concept called parent class. Write this parent class, P-A-R-E-N-T, parent class. and child class. Child class. Parent class is also called base class. BASE, base class. Child class is called derived class. DERIVED, derived class. This is also called, parent class is also known by the name superclass, and the child class is known by the name subclass. So there is a different name for this. You can call it a parent class, you can call it a superclass, you can call it a base class, or you can call it a child class, you can call it a derived class, or you can call it a subclass. So what happens that, as we know, the child derives its characteristics or features from their parents. Parents means mother and father or grand. Similarly, in the programming world, in object-oriented programming world, this child class, this class is called, there is certain class called parent class and there is certain class called child class. So whatever be the child class, that child class derives its features from the parent class. Fine. This thing you have understood. Let's say there is a shape, SHAP, shape. So, and inside the shape, let's suppose shape has certain color, and shape can be either filled or not filled or not. Now, let's take the example of, let's take a rectangle. Rectangle is also a shape. Rectangle can also have a color. Rectangle can be filled or not. And apart from these two things, color and fill, because shape is, let's understand here, shape is my parent class and rectangle is a child class of this parent class, this shape class. And rectangle also have a color, rectangle also can be filled or not. But apart from these two characteristics, these two properties of the rectangle, color and fill, there is some other properties also present inside this rectangle, which is called length of rectangle, and width of rectangle, WIDTH, width of rectangle. Fine. Similarly, let's take one more example. Let's take circle. Circle also have, let's say, certain color. Circle can be filled and circle, apart from these three, filled or not, apart from these two properties of circle, color, filled or not, there is one unique property of circle, that is called radius. Fine. So these two property of color, these two properties, color and filled of the circle, it has derived from this shape, because circle is also a shape, rectangle is also a shape, and both circle and rectangle is deriving these two features, color and filled or not, from the shape class. But apart from these two properties, color and filled or not, there are certain other properties which is unique to the rectangle only, that is length and width. Similarly, this circle derives two of its features from the shape class, but apart from these two features, it has a unique feature also, which is only present, which is unique to the circle class, which is called radius. So here here my shape is you can call my shape as a parent class. You can call the shape as my parent class, and this rectangle and circle as derived class, or child class, derived class or child class. Why it is a derived or child class? Because it is inheriting the properties of this class. Rectangle is also inheriting the properties from the shape class, and this circle is also inheriting the properties from the shape class. Both of these, let's say if I write here triangle, then let's suppose triangle also have certain color. Triangle can also be filled or not. And triangle, let's say in case of triangle, there is certain thing called base and height, which is unique to the triangle. Let's say here we have 4 classes. First class is my shape class, second class is my rectangle class, third class is my circle class, and fourth class is my triangle class. All these 3, rectangle, circle, and triangle, all these 3 is a kind of shape. And shape is my parent class. So all these 3 classes, rectangle, circle, and triangle, is deriving its certain features, that is in this case color and filled or not, from the shape class. But apart from these features which they are deriving from the shape class, there is certain unique features in each of the classes. That is, rectangle has a unique feature of length and width, circle has a unique feature of radius, triangle has a unique feature of base and height. Do you understood this? Fine. Now let's understand this in this way. Let's see. Let's suppose this is my shape. Sorry. Let's suppose this is my shape. This is my rectangle. This is my circle. And this is my, let's say, triangle. So I am calling this shape as my parent class, and I am calling these as a child class. Why it is a child class? Because it is inheriting the properties from the shape class. All these 3 is inheriting certain properties from the shape class. That's why the shape class is called a parent class, and these are called derived class or child class. So this is how. See, it is inheriting. That's why I am pointing this towards the rectangle. I am pointing this towards the circle. I am pointing this towards the triangle. Fine. So now let's see why let's understand in real world scenario why we use the concept of inheritance in our code while studying our code. Because this inheritance will help us in reducing the repetition of the code. It avoids repetition of the code. That's right. Let's suppose if while writing the code, if certain property is already characteristic is present in a shape class, and we have, there is a, in our program, let's say I have certain class which has certain properties, and if I need that properties in a different class, let's say in this case we have a shape class, and already we have color and filled or not is present in my shape class. So I do not need to write the same properties again and again in these 3 classes. We will simply inherit the properties from the shape class. So this will help us in reducing the complexity of the code, or it avoids the repetition of the code. And this is a very handy task, and it helps a lot in the real world programming scenario. That's why we use the concept of inheritance in our class. Fine. I have a vehicle class, and I have a car class, I have a motorcycle class, and I have a boat class. See, vehicle is my parent class, car, motorcycle, and boat. Car is also a kind of vehicle, motorcycle is also a kind of vehicle, and boat is also a kind of vehicle. All these three is a vehicle. Car is a vehicle, motorcycle is a vehicle, and boat is a vehicle. So whatever properties that is common in a vehicle should be common in car, motorcycle, and boat also. So here what it means, vehicle is my parent class or base class, and car, motorcycle, and boat are my subclasses or derived classes or child classes. Now let's understand this. Let's say this car can be of maybe car can be of Honda and car can be of Tata. So either Honda or Tata. If you take a Honda car, this belongs to the car class. If you take Tata car, it belongs to the car class. So Honda is also a kind of car, Tata is also a kind of car. So whatever properties or characteristics there are in the car class should be present in this Honda also and Tata also. This is a vehicle class, and this is my parent class. Vehicle is my parent class. Let's suppose every vehicle has a color. Let's suppose this is one feature of every vehicle has a color, and every vehicle has a, let's say, max speed. Now I am taking this car, and I know car is also a kind of vehicle. So this is, let's say, this is a vehicle class, which is a parent class, which is my parent class. And this vehicle class has two features, color and max speed. Now I want to make another class called car class, and I know car is also a kind of vehicle. So whatever feature is there inside a vehicle class should be present in the car class also. So I do not need to write these two properties inside my car class. Instead of writing it, I will write inside this parenthesis, I will derive the features. This is a child class of which? Vehicle class. So I will simply derive all these features which is present in the vehicle class inside my car class. But apart from this, let's say inside a car, there are certain features which is unique to the car class. So let's write I'm writing two features, number of gears, and is convertible. Is convertible means gear is convertible or not, is convertible. Fine. So now you have understood the concept behind it. Now I am going to show you the same thing with the help of code. So I am writing a code, and now we will be understanding the same things which we have understood right now with the help of code. So let me stop here. First, let's write one class called vehicle class, which I have just not discussed. This is a vehicle class. And inside this vehicle class, there is certain attributes which is present inside this vehicle class. And this is the attribute color, comma, max speed. These are the two. features inside a vehicle class. Inside the init, I have written these two features, and after that, self dot color is equal to color and self dot max speed is equal to max speed. So this is a vehicle class, and there's a init method inside this vehicle class. Just wait. I started feeling cold, so that's why I just switched off my fan. See. Now, this vehicle class I have written. Now I want to write another class called car class. And the name of this class is car class. Car. Now what I want, so I know that inside a car class, whatever be the features that is present in my vehicle class, I want all those features which is present in the vehicle class in my car class. That's why instead of writing these features, I will simply, what I will do, I will inherit the vehicle class inside my car class. So how you can inherit? You will simply, inside this parenthesis, you have to simply write the name of the class, vehicle. It means now inside this car class, I am inheriting all the properties and methods of vehicle class. So whatever be the properties or methods that will be present in my vehicle class will be inherited inside my car class. This is done. Now let's the init function of the car class. So def underscore init. Now, so these two properties inside this init class I have already derived from the vehicle class, color, max speed. It will automatically come. But apart from this, there are certain properties in a car class which is unique to the car class. So that's I am writing that thing also. I have to write that thing. Let's say this is a max speed. I have written. Let's write number of gears. And this gear is convertible or not. So I am writing is convertible or not. Fine. Now, one more thing, I will write it. Let's first understand this, then I will. Now, this number of gears and is convertible is a unique property or feature of the car class. So I have to mention it here. Self dot number of gears is equal to num gears, and self dot is convertible is this thing. So this is done. Fine. Now, one important thing here is that, see, when I have defined the init of this car class and I have mentioned these color, max speed, number of gears, and is convertible. In this, color and max speed is present where? Is present in the init of vehicle class. Color and this max speed is present in the init of vehicle class. But this number of gears and is convertible is unique or to this car class only. So I have already defined the self.color and self.max speed here inside the vehicle class, inside the init of the vehicle class. So I do not need to define it here also. But this number of gears and is convertible is unique to this init class, to init of this vehicle car class. So I need to define the self of this. So I have defined this. But here one more thing is that whatever in it, we have inherited the vehicle class. That means we have inherited all the features and properties of the vehicle class. But to get the access of the in the this property which is present in this vehicle class, I have to inherit that also with the help of super. Super means which is super to this class. It is a this is a super class. You can understand this. This vehicle class is a super class, is my super class, and this car class is my subclass. So this vehicle class is a super of which class? This car class. And this car class is a subclass of which class? This vehicle class. This car class is a subclass of the vehicle class, and this vehicle class is a super class of this car class. So I have to also inherit the init of this super class. For that, I have to write super super parenthesis, thereafter dot underscore underscore init underscore underscore, then I have to write color and max speed here. Now what happens? What will happen? Now whatever the in the super class of this vehicle class, whatever properties is there is get inherited here also in the init of the vehicle, in the init of the car class. Whatever init properties that I have defined in the vehicle class will get inherited inside this car class also. Fine. So this is a second thing that is very important. Here comes the concept of superclass and subclass. Now, so till now we have two classes, vehicle classes and a car classes. Now inside this car classes, I have defined the init of this car class. Now inside this car class, I want to define one method, another method called def. Let's write the name of this method, print car. I'm writing the name. This is the name of my method, that is print car self. Fine. Now inside this method, I want to write something. So let me write, I want to print something. Let me print. So let's write, I want to print color. So let's write color here. Color. And thereafter self dot color. Fine. Thereafter print max speed, self dot max speed. Thereafter I want to print number of gears, self dot number of gears. Thereafter I want to print is convertible, self dot is convertible. So now this method I have written inside my vehicle class. So this is how. Now I am going to run this code. Now my code is completed. Basically what I have written one class, vehicle class. I have written another class called car class. Inside a car class, I have written a init method and one print car method. Inside the print car method, I want to print these four things. I want to print color, max speed, number of gear, and self dot is convertible. Now let's run this code. So I'm running this code. So fine, code got run. Now the question is to you, Ruchi. Tell me, now if I want to make a object of this car class, how can I make the object of the car class? Tell me. Question to you. I want to make an object of this car class. So how will I make the object of this car class?
C1 is equal to.
Let's write C
car.
is equal to car. Correct. Good.
Parenthesis.
Yes, I have written parenthesis. Is it done? See, inside this car class,
vehicle also.
yes, this color, max speed, number of gears is convertible should also come. So let's give it a color red. Then
Yeah.
you have to mention max speed. So let's give it a some max speed. Then you have to mention number of gears. So let's give it a number of gear. Then you have to mention is convertible. Let's write false or true, whatever you want. Fine. So I have to mention all these attributes which I have defined inside my init. So inside the init of the car class, these four things should be present. That's why at the time of object creation, I have to give these things. And if I will not give, it will throw me an error. Fine. So now let's run this. If I will run this, now my object C got created. Now, when my object C is created, this object C is object of car class. Now I want to see what is present inside my, I want to access the method which is present, this print car method which is present inside my car class. So how I shall access this method? Tell me. How will I access the method, this print car method which is present in my car class? With the help of this object, simply you will write C dot print car. Simple. Nothing you have to do. And if you will run this code, you will get whatever thing you have defined inside this method. So what I have defined? I have defined color. So I am getting color red. I have written red here. I have passed red here. If you pass green here, it will show you green. Whatever speed I have passed here in my object creation, it is coming here. Number of gear, it is coming here. Is convertible false? So do you understood how I have access the method of this car class?
Yes.
Fine.
But I'm not able to type yet, so please give
So
me.
you can type where I shall I write it? Shall I keep here?
Yeah.
So we have understood this basic code. Now I'm going to tell you something. Inheritance and private members. There is a one concept called inheritance and private members. Private members. So let's understand what is this inheritance and private members concept. So first of all, let me do one thing. First of all, you should also do the same thing. Just do Control A and then do Control C. When you do Control A, all of these previous code will get selected. Go inside this cell. If some of you are facing difficulty in doing so, I'm explaining you. You go to the previous cell where you have written the code, put your cursor there and press Control A. When you will press Control A, everything inside that cell will get selected. After that, you do Control C or Command C. After that, you come to the new cell and just do Control V. So whatever code is there, it all get pasted in your new cell. Now, in this code, I am going to explain you inheritance and private member concept. So I will make certain changes in this same code which I have written earlier, and with the help of that, I am going to explain you these things. So now let's first understand. So all of you, we have already covered the public, protected and private member concept in our previous sessions. So you must be aware of the private and private members. So what we used to do inside a private member, so whatever variable, whatever attribute that I want it to be a private, what I used to do? Can you remember, Ruchi? Please tell me if you remember. If you don't remember, then also you can tell me. I will explain you.
Which
See,
one?
private members, how you used to define the private members?
Okay, private members when we use double underscore.
Correct. Intelligent girl. You are such an intelligent girl. See, you remember everything. See, underscore. So let's see, let's suppose here in this vehicle class, I want to define this max speed as my private members. This is for your understanding. So I want to make it a private member. So what I have done, I have attached double underscore before this max speed. So now this becomes a private member. Do you agree? Do you agree?
Yes.
Fine. So if you agree, so let's see what will happen now. Let's run this code first. Let me explain you in this way. So I have run this code. Now I want to make a object of this class. So let me take the same thing here and let's make an object of this class. And thereafter, let's take this and let's take this. So simply I have only changed this max speed, underscore max speed. I have made this private member. Now, this is a private member inside my vehicle class. Very important thing to, this is a very important thing. That's why I want you should be very focused here. This is a private members, and what you know about the private members, you cannot access the private member outside your class. You can access, there is a method to access, but in generally in direct way, you cannot access the private members outside your class. So what I'm doing, this max speed is a private member, and this private member is present inside which class? Inside a vehicle class. Is it okay?
Yes.
And here, this max speed, I'm trying to access this. If I will try to access this, what will happen? So I have run this. Let's run this. Fine, I made an object, and now I wanted to run this. So now let's run this code. I get an error. Card object has no attribute max speed. Why it is giving me error? Because it is a private member. And I'm trying to access this private member from
without mentioning the class.
Yes. Or see, I have also not mentioned double for accessing this. I have to mention this underscore max speed here also. But I have not mentioned it here also. So let's see if I mention this max underscore max speed here, and then if I run this same code, what happens? Let's run this. Let's create an object and let's run it again. Still, I am not able to access, because what it is telling me, car object has no attribute underscore car underscore max speed. Fine. It simply means that why I am getting this error? Because this is a vehicle class. Although I have made a object of which class? Car class. Although I have inherited the vehicle class, this is my vehicle class, and I have inherited my vehicle class inside my car class. But still, this max speed is a attribute of vehicle class. It is not an attribute of car class. We have inherited it from some other class. That's why when I'm trying to access it from the car class, it is showing me the error. So if I want to access the max speed, I have to find a way to access the max speed. Otherwise, I will get this error. I will continue to get this error. So let's understand what. So if I need to access this max speed, I have to access it through the vehicle class only. So I need to do something so that I may able to access this max speed through the vehicle class. Now let me copy this code. So again do Control A or Command A for the Mac user or other. Do Control C, then do Control V in a new cell. Your code will get pasted here. Now there is two things called get. There is two properties. Fine. So we have to approach this through the vehicle class only. Now to approach this through the vehicle class, there is certain thing. If you want to modify, you can see whatever be the private members. So we are not able to access this outside the class, and we are also not able to modify it outside class. So we have to find a way to access it and to modify it through the vehicle class only. So for that, I have to write one another method here, and I am writing the name of this method, get max speed. Get max speed. Get max speed. This is a method that I am writing inside my vehicle class. And with the help of this method, I am going to access max speed. So this method get max speed is, let's say, going to return me self dot underscore underscore max speed. Fine. If I will do this, so I have written one method inside a vehicle class, and what this method is doing, simply this method is doing nothing, but it is returning me maximum speed, and it is inside the same class, so it can access this. Now let's say if I want to change the max speed or set the max speed, change the max speed, I am not able to change it from some other class. So let's do it like this, def, and let's write one more method, set max speed. In this way, I am able to even set the max speed. Self dot max speed is equal to max speed. So this method will set the maximum speed. That will, if I want to change the maximum speed, I can able to change the maximum speed with the help of this method. So I have written two more methods inside this vehicle class to access this max speed and to access the and to change the max speed. Now if I want to get the same thing inside my vehicle class, so what I will do, I will make a little changes inside my, everything here will remain same, everything here will remain same, this will also remain same, this thing will remain same. Only thing is that inside this method where I am trying to access this max speed, this self dot underscore underscore max speed, this is not accessible. because this is a private member and I am not able to access the private member outside this class. But now can you see this get max speed is not a private member. This is not a private member. This is a method, and this is also not a private method. So I am able to access this method, and with the help of this method, I am getting this maximum speed, because this method is returning me the maximum speed. So I will write self dot get max speed here. If I will write here, I am able to access the max speed from here, from here. Now let's run this code again. I am going to run this code again. Let's run this code again. Let's write the same. Let's create an object of this class again. I'm going to make the object of this class, and let's do the same thing here. Let's not try to access this. Earlier when I was accessing, I was getting an error. Now let's again try to access this. Now I am getting the maximum speed. Maximum speed is 15, number of gears is 3. So this is a workaround to access the private members. So what exactly I am doing this time, I am accessing this max speed, but I am accessing this through the vehicle class. Do you get my point? I'm accessing this through the vehicle class only. I have created one method inside this vehicle class, and that method is returning me this max speed. And also I have created one method inside this vehicle class. I have not yet used this method. I will use it in the next code. I am going to show you. If you want to change the max speed, you can change this with the help of this method. If you call this method and pass whatever whatever maximum speed you want to set, it will set that maximum speed. So you are doing the same thing, but through the vehicle class only, not through the car class. Fine, through the method of the vehicle class. Fine. Now let's understand the extension of the above code. I'm going to explain you the extension of the above code. So inside this code, let's copy this code again, because I am going to use the same code again here. Paste it now. Now one thing is in this code, if you look at the in this code, what is happening inside this car class, I have written this method. What is this method? I have written this print car method, and inside this print car method, I have written this color, this max speed. So I'm accessing this color, max speed, and number of gears through the car. Through the car class, I am accessing these things. But ideally, it should be printed through the vehicle. It should be printed through this vehicle class. So for that, what I need to do, I need to do a minor change in this code, and let's understand why I will be doing these changes. Everything in this code will remain same. This vehicle I'm not making any changes inside my vehicle classes. Everything will remain same here. This get max speed will also remain same. This set max speed will also remain same. This. Now I'm writing one code here. One more method I am defining. Let's define one more method. And let's write the name of this method, print. I want to print these two things. I want to print these two things, color and max speed, through the vehicle class only. That's why I am writing this thing. And so let's write inside this print statement, let's write color is equal to self.color. Fine. Again write print and max speed is self.__ max speed. Because I do not want to use my print class, car class to print this. I want to use this vehicle class to print this thing, and I will inherit the super of this class. I will explain you. Just wait a few seconds. So have you understood this? Def print self, and I want to print this self.color and self.__ max speed. So I have done this thing. I have created one method here inside my vehicle class, and inside this method I have defined one method, print method, and from here I am printing my color and maximum speed. So this is done. Now after that, what I am doing, inside my car class, I am inheriting my vehicle class. This is fine. This is also fine. This is also fine. What I am doing, everything is fine. I do not need to make any changes here. Now, what is the most important change that I want to do? I am not deleting these two things, these two line of code, color and max speed, because this time I am accessing, I am printing this color and this max speed through the car class. But I want to print it through the vehicle class because it is an attribute of the vehicle class. This color and max speed is an attribute of the vehicle class. So I want it to get printed inside that class. I simply want that my color and max speed should be printed inside my vehicle class, and I will inherit that and use it in my class. That is a point. I do not want to print it here. So that's why I am just deleting these two print statements. So let's delete it. So now, when I have deleted this print statement, these two things will get printed as it is. But now what I will do, I will simply call the super of this class, and I will simply call the super. So what is the super of this class? What is the super of this car class? Vehicle is the super of this car class. I have explained you. Ruchi, can you understood this? Are you getting this? What is the super of, or what is the, you can say, what is the parent of this this class, this car class? Vehicle is the parent of this car class. This vehicle is the parent of car class. So I am calling this super dot print. That is, I am calling from the super class, call this print. Now I am calling this print. I am here, instead of writing these two line of print statement, I am simply defining the print here. I am printing in my vehicle class, and from the car class, I'm simply calling my super class. What is the super of this car class? Vehicle is the super of this car class. And from the super of class, I am calling this print method, dot print, this print method. Now, if I will run this code, it will exactly give me the same output which I was getting earlier. So let's run this code. So let's run this code. So this code has run. Now again, create a object of this class. So let's create an object of this class. So created the object of this class. Now do this c dot. I am calling this print method c dot sorry, this print card. So let's call this. And now if I will simply run this, I will create exactly the same thing. I am getting exactly the same thing. I am getting nothing wrong here. So I suppose you have understood this. So there's one more important one thing. You have understood this super thing which I have explained you. Now, one very important thing is that instead of this super, you can also use self here. Self will also do the same work what super has done. So let's do it. I'm just taking this, copying this entire in this code and pasting it inside a new cell. So let's paste it inside a new cell. And now inside this new cell, what you want to do, I am removing this super. And instead of this super, I'm using self. Self. Fine. I'm using this self. Now, let's do the same, copy this object from here. And let's do it here. Do the same thing. Same thing. So let's run this code first. So this is run, this run, this run. So what you can see, instead of this super, if I'm using this self, I'm getting exactly the same output. I'm getting nothing new. So this is happening because if we can use self instead of super in the above code, because car is inheriting all properties and methods from the superclass. Why this self is working? Because this car, whenever I am inheriting this, this is a concept of inheritance. When I am inheriting this vehicle class from the car class, every properties, car class is inheriting all properties and methods from the vehicle class. That's why if you use self instead of the super here, it will also do the exactly same work and you will get the same output. So this is all for today. So I suppose I will be keeping here till here. So next thing that we will be going to discuss in the next session is called the, I will be discussing something called method overriding. I will be going to discuss in the tomorrow sessions. So this is all for today. And I hope, so let me push my code. So let's save this and let's push the code to GitHub so that, so let's write a message. Today is the 12th. Today is the 12th session and we discuss inheritance. Fine. today, or today we have discussed inheritance. Fine, let's commit it. Yes, sync changes. Okay, so it takes few seconds. Now the changes has been committed. Let's see whether the changes has been committed or not. Let me check it out in my GitHub. So where is my GitHub? Let's check it out. Fine, this is the repository. See, I have this code has been pushed now, and whatever code I have discussed today, it's present here. Fine, it's all there. So this is all for today, I suppose. So guys, every one of you who are watching my recorded session, if you guys are having any doubt or anything, you can keep it, you can ask in the comment section of the video, and I will definitely try to resolve all your queries and doubts related to this inheritance. And so keep learning, keep smiling, and that's all. Have a nice day. Great. Thanks for watching the videos. Keep watching.
Good night.